of hopelessness as nature unleashes trouble against a large section of our population.
Sijawahi kuona ukame ile leo hapa Soine iko naye, sijawahi kuona.
Since the government declared drought a national disaster, KBC has been on location to assess the nature and extent of the drought situation in Kenya. Beginning Sunday, September 26th to Friday, October 1st, join KBC at 7 and 9 p.m. for a full picture of the looming crisis in many parts of the country.
The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops invites all men and women of goodwill to a virtual National Prayer Day to be held in Subukia this Saturday, 2nd October 2021. This year's theme is Saint Joseph, Faithful and Just, Guardian of the Eucharist. Go to Joseph. We invite you to participate in this celebration of the Holy Mass by following the proceedings that will be aired live on KBC Channel 1 this Saturday from 10 a.m. God bless Kenya.
Sauti ya Kenya.
Juu milimani na hata mabondeni, Radio Taifa inatamba kutamba. Sasa unaweza kupokea matangazo ya Radio Taifa loud and clear popote ulipo Western Kenya.
Radio Taifa usisahau unaweza ukatupata kupitia
ukiwa Busia, Siaya, Vihiga, Mumias, Yala na maeneo yaliyoko karibu. Radio Taifa inapatikana kwenye 104.5 FM, na ukiwa Bungoma, Kakamega, Kiminini, Kipkaren na viunga vyake, pata vipindi na burudani safi kupitia 92.3 FM. Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya.
Good evening to you, and thank you so much for creating time to join us as we are just about to wind up the month of September. A lot has been happening in Kenya and other parts of the world. We got details about the recent mini reshuffle at the cabinet. 3 cabinet secretaries have now gotten a new job description. We will be telling you who and what they will be doing going forward in our comprehensive news bulletin that begins right now.
All right, plus tonight in our continuing series on the bane of drought continues to ravage the country. Serfine Achieng was away, and by the way, welcome back.
Thank you.
She just came back from Marsabit, and of course her feature tonight, Pangs of Marsabit, will be airing tonight. Be sure to catch up with our story as we update you about the drought situation in the country. And you can tweet us at Kioria at KBC Channel 1 at Serfine_Achieng. But an extra mile tonight, as we talk about drought, there are also other people who are doing, works to help some of these communities, some of them marginalized, others affected probably by pockets of, problems like drought and stuff like that. And we'll be talking to a philanthropist called Serfine Kenyatta from Narok County. That will be coming up a little bit later. But let's just kick this off with the highlights.
In exercise of the presidential prerogative vested in the head of state and government, His Excellency the President has instituted portfolio rearrangements in his cabinet and in the ranks of principal secretaries.
Minor changes in cabinet.
President Uhuru Kenyatta moves Monica Juma from Ministry of Defense to Energy as a number of departments are reorganized.
This is the first one that we are doing, introducing the mobile system of taking vaccines to the people. We can reach the unreached as far as vaccination is concerned.
It is an ambitious plan.
Ministry of Health targets to vaccinate 10 million against COVID-19 by the end of December.
And it is a two-pronged calamity.
160,000 households in Marsabit County facing acute drought under the shadows of insecurity.
Once again, a very warm welcome. We'll be doing this together with Anne Wangeshi, our sign language interpreter, and Karen Kibet. We'll be bringing you the latest in the world of sports a little bit later. My name is Serfine Achieng Oma.
And my name is John Jacob Kioria. Welcome to the broadcast. And we begin tonight with the news that Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Monica Juma is now in charge of a Ministry of Energy.
In a cabinet organization Wednesday, President Uhuru Kenyatta moved Charles Keter, who until today was in charge of energy, to the devolution docket.
Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa has been moved to the Ministry of Defense.
The president also rearranged state departments, with a big casualty being the Ministry of Labor, that has lost social protection and senior citizen affairs, to the Ministry of Public Service and Gender.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has made a minor reshuffle in his cabinet, moving Defense Cabinet Secretary Monica Juma to the Ministry of Energy, and her place has been taken over by Eugene Wamalwa from the Ministry of Devolution. Charles Keter, who served as Energy Cabinet Secretary, is now the new Devolution CS.
The presidential action promotes enhanced operational efficiency, institutionalizes the implementation of various ongoing groundbreaking reforms, better orients portfolio responsibilities with both national development plans as well as the needs of citizens, and introduces functional changes that shall make the relevant ministries and state departments more efficient.
The changes have also seen Major General retired Gordon Kihalangwa moved from Public Works to the State Department for Energy, while Dr. Engineer Joseph Njoroge, who was PS Energy, has been moved to the State Department for Transport. Solomon Kitungu, who was PS Transport, has now moved to the State Department for Public Works, while Nelson Marwa takes over the State Department for Social Protection, Senior Citizen Affairs Special Programs. The State Department for Assaults from the Ministry of Devolution, together with that of Social Protection, Pension and Senior Citizens from the Ministry of Labor, have been transferred to the Ministry of Public Service and Gender. The Department of Special Program from the Ministry of Devolution has also been transferred to the State Department of Social Protection, Pensions and Senior Citizens Affairs. The President has further renamed the State Department of Special Programs to State Department for Social Protection, Senior Citizens Affairs and Special Programs. The Ministry of Devolution, the Assaults area, has been renamed Ministry of Devolution. The Ministry of Public Service and Gender has also been reconstituted and renamed as the Ministry of Public Service, Gender, Senior Citizens Affairs and Special Programs, while the Ministry of Labor, Social Protection has been reconstituted and renamed as the Ministry of Labor. Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
And I'm sure by tomorrow you will get some political interpretation to the changes made by President Uhuru Kenyatta today. Now, the Ministry of Health has begun an ambitious campaign targeting to vaccinate over 5.8 million people against COVID-19 by Mashujaa Day on the 20th of October. Health CS Mutahi Kagwe, who launched the National Accelerated Vaccination Campaign dubbed Kuwa Shujaa Pata Chanjo Tufungue Nchi in Kiambu County, devolved units to work with the Ministry of Health to increase vaccination uptake.
Health CS Mutahi Kagwe, while officially launching an accelerated countrywide mass COVID-19 vaccination campaign in Kiambu County, said the gains in the fight against the pandemic may be lost because of what he termed as vaccine apathy.
Know that we have got international partners who are working with us. But as Manisha said, it is not enough yet. We are appealing to the world community to start and to stop vaccine apathy.
Kagwe says the mass vaccination campaign is driven by the arrival of multiple COVID-19 vaccines in the country, saying the ministry aims to ensure 5.8 million Kenyans are vaccinated by October 20th and a further 10 million by the end of the year.
We intend to intensify and start a mobile program for taking the vaccines to the people. And Governor, this is the first one that we are doing introducing the mobile system of taking vaccines to the people. And to that extent, we are appealing to other county governments to do exactly the same.
Be brought as closer to the patients as possible. So we are now pushing more of NCD drugs to the rural areas, to level 2 and level 3. All we need is a medical personnel who monitors. And once it is dispensed, it is enough to last that person a month, and you don't have to go to the hospital.
The CS said once a sizable population is vaccinated, the government will proceed to open up the economy and remove the curfew.
We can open the entire hotel sector. We can open all the bars. We can open all the pubs to the hours that legally they are supposed to operate. Because we can do so if people going into those pubs have been vaccinated, and therefore there is no spread.
He lamented about some rich countries vaccinating children against COVID-19, while some people in third world countries are yet to get the jabs. As of Tuesday, September 28, 2021, a total of 3,712 vaccines had so far been administered across the country.
Now to matters COVID-19. 404 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours from 6,309 samples screened. According to the Ministry of Health, 390 are Kenyans and 14 are foreigners, while 206 are males and 198 are females. The youngest case is a 6-day-old infant, while the oldest is 106 years. The positivity rate is now at 6.4%. So far, Kenya has recorded a total of 249,174 positive cases, while cumulative tests so far conducted are 2,549,996. In the last 24 hours, 231 patients have been given a clean bill of health, pushing total recoveries to 24,411. The fatalities have increased to 5,119 after one patient succumbed between Tuesday and Wednesday, while 2 others were reported in late facility audit records for the month of September. Globally, over 232.9 million people have tested positive, while more than 4.76 million have died, according to Johns Hopkins University. Now moving on, as Kenya joins the world in commemorating World Heart Day, poor lifestyles, lack of exercise, too much cholesterol, overweight, uncontrolled sugars, and heavy drinking have been attributed to increasing cases of heart conditions and cardiovascular problems. Speaking in Mombasa during a free heart camp organized by Aga Khan Hospital to enlighten the public on heart diseases, Dr. Mohammed Salim said heart problems are preventable by observing healthy lifestyles and controlled sugar levels.
Under the theme Heart Choices, Not Hard Choices, this year's World Heart Day focused on ensuring that people are able to make heart-healthy choices wherever they live, work or play to reduce cardiovascular diseases. To mark this day, a section of health professionals held an awareness campaign at the Medihill Hospital in Parklands, Nairobi.
The incidence of cardiovascular disease is more all over the world. It is the #1 killer in the world, and almost 17 to 18 million of the people die from the cardiovascular disease all over the world. Out of 4-5 cardiac death is due to heart attack and stroke.
The Vice Chair of the Parliamentary Health Committee at the National Assembly, Mishra Kiprop, who graced the event, challenging Kenyans to have confidence in the expertise available in the country and not always rush abroad whenever they are diagnosed with a terminal illness.
Today, Kenya is the leader in Africa in medical tourism. Under the president, our leadership of our president, Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, his dream, universal health coverage is we are heading there. Rome was not built in a day, but it will be his legacy. I know that each and every one and all Kenyans will get the medical attention with basics, primary, secondary, tertiary, and the far-end, high-end medical practice.
He said the government has successfully addressed the severe shortage of specialists that had existed over the years. According to experts, the burden of heart disease is significant in Kenya, with cardiovascular diseases causing 25% of hospital admissions and 13% of deaths.
The blood pressure disease is so much in our community. High blood sugar is so much in our community. Many of them don't know, or those who know are not well controlled.
Nimekuja kutibiwa sukari, pressure, ina mambo ya moyo pia nimetibiwa.
Purity Museo, Prime Edition.
And now President Uhuru Kenyatta has said his government is committed to providing universal healthcare to all Kenyans through a single unified benefit package that is affordable. The president said over 326,000 vulnerable Kenyans have been identified to receive healthcare services under the universal healthcare program.
All persons in Kenya will be able to access quality and affordable essential services that they need for their health and well-being through a single unified benefit package without the risk of financial catastrophe.
Speaking when he officially opened the Nairobi Metropolitan Services NMS Kibra Level 3 Hospital in Kibera, Nairobi, the head of state said the 24 hospitals he commissioned in the city in August will be scaled to 28 hospitals to improve access to healthcare, especially in informal settlements targeting 3.1 million Kenyans.
In August of 2020, I commissioned the construction of 24 hospitals across Nairobi's 17 sub-counties with focus on informal settlements and other underserved areas. This program has since expanded to target the construction of 28 new hospitals and the expansion as well as the rehabilitation of 4 more hospitals across the county. The Nairobi Metropolitan Service has already identified, registered, and qualified over 326,000 vulnerable people for NHIF support.
He noted that the over-reliance on Kenyatta National Hospital had stretched the health system in the city.
Nairobi, the country's capital, with a population of close to 5 million residents, has seen over 40% of its population over the years rely on Kenyatta National Hospital as their first point of access for health services. This has resulted in this county of Nairobi registering the worst health outcomes and disease burden nationally.
On his part, ODM leader Raila Odinga, who had accompanied the president, called on the government to consider bringing back the Kazi Mtaani program to assist the many jobless youths.
Ingine, Mheshimiwa Rais, hawa vijana wameshikwa sana ni mambo ya COVID. COVID imekuwa kali sana kwao. Wamekuwa nani sana. Waliniomba adile mambo ya kazi mtaani. Ikiwa kama inaweza kurudi wangesikia vizuri sana.
The new health facility is part of 24 such hospitals being constructed by the government as a broad plan to decongest Kenyatta National Hospital, Mama Lucy, Pumwani and Mbagadi hospitals. For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Thank you, Njue, for that report. From health to transport now, the government says the Nairobi Express Highway and the Bypass Masterplan are 70% complete and will be ready by March next year. Transport and Infrastructure Cabinet Secretary James Macharia, while inspecting the project, said the president is scheduled to commission the two in April 2022. The two roads are meant to enable the country save 100 billion shillings that is lost annually in city traffic jams. And as Ruth Wamboi reports, motorists will now pay between 100 and 1,500 shillings to use the roads.
With 70% completion of the Nairobi Express Highway and the Bypass Masterplan, Traffic congestion along Nairobi and its environs will soon be a thing of the past. The major road project in the country aimed at opening up the city is 70% complete and will be the first expressway in East and Central Africa. According to Transport CS James Macharia, once complete, the roads will attract more investors to the country.
GDP growth will be massive, and Nairobi will become a really attractive place for foreigners coming to visit, coming to invest.
What the president has planned for the city, he is determined and he is in the process of executing a decongestion plan that will be successful.
Infrastructure being one of the big four agenda by the government, Macharia says the president has already surpassed the 10,000 kilometer that he promised in his manifesto when he was elected in 2013.
And not just commercial, but also the help in our diplomacy. And that is very important in terms of our global geopolitics.
There is a plan that is coming slowly into fruition. These traffic jams will end and we will have an improved level of traffic.
The CS says the country loses 11 million shillings hourly in traffic jams and the road will come in handy. The acting chief executive officer Rift Valley Highway, who is among the private partnership investors in the project, said they are committed to ensure the project is completed within the stipulated time frame.
I'm here to reiterate our commitment to deliver this project very soon, and you can be sure that the team is working very hard.
For Prime Edition, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
Thank you, Ruth, for that report.
For us to take a break.
Yeah.
All right.
It's now time for us to take a short break. Remember, we are coming back with much more. There's a very important interview coming up. And of course, that feature, Punks of Marsabit, also coming up after this particular break. So stay with us.
All right.
Nafani kupeleke hospitali. You might be having internal injuries. No.
Nani amekufundisha kucheza kamari? What's that?
Ameondoka, hakukuaga kwani?
Angeniaga mwizi mkubwa.
Mwizi? Amekuibia nini?
Unajua nahisi kama wanidanganya. Hebu nieleze kwani kulikuwaje huko?
Nikikuita mwizi nitakuwa nimekosea.
Viazi ni chakula nambari 2 muhimu sana hapa nchini Kenya.
We are a critical player in the development and supply of seed.
Ili wakulima wa zao hili wapate mazao ya kumezewa mate, utumizi wa mbegu zilizoidhinishwa ni muhimu zaidi.
Umuhimu hizi za huku za hazina magonjwa, utapata mapato mingi kushinda yenye utanunua huko kwa kishagi.
And our path to food security is anchored on ensuring significant improvement in farm productivity by enhancing the quality of farm inputs.
Don't just stand there! Save her!
I believe that your brother is grieving even more than you. So I suggest that you keep your friendship with her a secret from your brother. If you want to do right by Miss Hung, pull yourself together.
If that's all you care about.
And go ahead and forget you ever even had a son.
I am from Changzhou Prefecture. My family have all been killed. I'm the only one left.
Welcome back. You're watching Prime Edition. Before we head over to the interview, let's focus on our continuing series on the bane of drought. And Marsabit County has made a name globally as the cradle of mankind. Currently, there's pain at the cradle due to prolonged drought. Over 160,000 people are bearing the brunt of an acute food and water shortage, further compounding the perennial problem of insecurity in the area. This even as stakeholders insist that there is an urgent need for a dynamic shift from a crisis-led response to a proactive approach that builds resilience and reduces the impact of drought. In the fourth edition of our special assignment, Bane of Hunger, Serfine Achieng brings you a report from Marsabit County.
Kwangu huwezi pata hata maji drop ya kukunywa. Kwenda kuchinja fisi kwa sababu ya njaa.
Approximately 540 kilometers from Kenya's capital, Nairobi, we enter into Marsabit County, the largest county in Kenya, bordering Ethiopia, home to approximately 460,000 people. We are here to see how the region, renowned as the cradle of mankind, has been affected by Jilali, as many locals here refer to the devastating drought. It's lunchtime by the time we get to Serfine Lerapo's homestead by the fireplace, cold. Serfine was left home to care for the hungry children as other family members embarked on the daily search for water, food and pasture.
Because of drought, nobody is at home. They've gone to look for pasture and water. There's no food. Whatever little we get, we first feed the children, then if we are lucky, we get something to eat, which is becoming rare.
The burden is even heavier for those with livestock.
Iko miti inachimbwa chini na anatolewa mbali, ndio ng'ombe kuna kitu nakula mpaka kuja kule hii miti kutolewa. Na si rahisi kutoa, na mtu iko njaa hawezi toa, na hapa iko njaa ile zaidi.
Hii ward yangu ina location 3. Hiyo ni Karare ward, Karare location, Songo location na Low location. Zaidi ya 3,150 households wamekuwa affected.
Karibu kila mtu ameathirika tu kwa njia fulani, lakini hasa wale wameumia, watu wengi wanategemea mali, mifugo na mashamba. Last season hakuna chakula tulipata kwa mashamba. Pia wanyama nyasi tulikuwa naye kidogo wakamaliza, sasa hizi hatuna wanyama nyumbani.
According to the Marsabit County Commissioner Paul Rotich, over 160,000 people are affected.
We are at that crisis level. The food situation is not good, both for humans and for livestock. We are estimating around 160,000 persons directly affected by the drought. The most affected constituencies are actually North Horr and Laisamis.
As we make our way to North Horr, which is among the most affected constituencies, we meet an exhausted Roba, an elderly woman from Shufisa village, accompanying these donkeys to a nearby water point. Robe has walked for 30 kilometers to get here, a trip she makes every 2 days.
I've walked for almost 30 kilometers now. Other members of my household have also left home in search for pasture. The water I fetched today is for 20 households. That means after 2 days, we have to come back for more water.
Our next stop is Burgabo location, a 20-kilometer stretch off the Marsabit Moyale road. It is an endless expanse of bare land. Animal carcasses line our path to Mzee Bonaya Abdubas Manyata. Today he has nothing to feed his 6 children.
Due to the failure of rain, the livestock has migrated to an area about 200 kilometers away, leaving us with no source of milk or food for my children. I'm not employed, and so for now, I'm depending on relief food from the government and well-wishers. At
Robe Okas Manyata, we are greeted by a sight of desperation.
I used to depend on my neighbors, but for now, because of the drought and COVID-19, everyone is facing a hard time. I eat well only on days when we receive support from government. The rest of the days, it's surviving on the little we get or nothing at all.
This is the Burgabo water point, the only functional borehole in the entire location, which was rehabilitated by a local NGO. It is not enough to meet the demand for water in this community.
This water is not enough. The water for home use is only 120 liter drum per day. Even to get that 20 liter is a struggle. It's a great problem.
As we leave, we can still spot herds of emaciated livestock making their way to the water point. The scramble for water continues at the Dosa Wachu borehole, which is decorated with herds of livestock. The Veld Hunger Welfare Organization is working with pastoralists in the region to ensure that they can plant and harvest pasture for their livestock even during the drought.
We have 3 rangeland in Merile, which is in the Sami sub-county, and 2 in Moyale sub-county. In Adesa, we have 75 beneficiaries, whereby we are trying to rehabilitate the 200 acres of rangeland. The reseeding was done in May 2021, and the harvesting was done in last week, September.
The program has really helped us, especially during drought. At least I have something to feed my livestock, which saved me the long walk in search for pasture.
There are 4 parameters to measure food security, which include availability, accessibility, affordability, and quality. A far-fetched reality for residents in these hunger-stricken communities who for now have to overdepend on relief food.
Watu wanaumia kabisa, hata watu hawatoki kwa nyumba mpaka unaonea huruma. Saa zingine watu wanapata sorghum na sio kila mtu anapata hiyo, ni wachache ndio wanapata sorghum, na hata hiyo sorghum huwezi kutusaidia kwa sababu mtu akipata kama 50 kgs ya gunia, karibu kila mtu anakuja kuombana kwa kikombe. Hiyo siku hiyo moja tu watu wanakula hiyo chakula. Siku ya pili hakuna kitu.
From bearing the brunt of the locust invasion to coming face to face with the acute problem of food and water crisis occasioned by the drought situation to the perennial problem of insecurity, residents here can only hope for a better tomorrow, and that these challenges will not soil the rich history of Marsabit County, which boasts of being the cradle of mankind. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Marsabit County, I am Serfine Achieng Oma.
All right, and of course, tomorrow the special segment will focus on drought in the face of abundance. President Uhuru Kenyatta already has declared drought a national disaster. Be sure to join us on this continuing feature as we cover the drought situation in the country. In studio, I have a philanthropist, politician. He's called Serfine from Narok County. And it's good, that we begin from the drought situation. But first of all, welcome to KBC.
Thank you very much. Asante.
Let's begin with the drought situation in Narok County. Probably you can begin by describing to us how it is looking, probably from the areas of Narok. It has not been mentioned among the most affected, but I'm sure somehow if the short rains fail, Narok will also be on the red line.
True. So actually what I can say, some parts of Narok they are good, okay? Na kuna pali zingine ambao which are not good.
Okay.
Like Mosiro. Actually the down kutoka Suswa, Mosiro, until you go to a place called Narosra. Actually the drought there, it is that bad. People have started actually now slaughtering animals. So I think it is very bad.
All right.
Yes.
I hear you talk about animals, and there's always this plan by government, and I was asking the cabinet secretary the other day, Eugene Omalo, whether there's a plan, to uptake these animals and probably the meat is sold to KMC. Have you heard of such plans probably from Narok? Because if people have started slaughtering their animals, why then not sell to government through KMC?
Well, KMC, it is ongoing actually at the moment.
Okay.
People are taking their animals, but at times actually the animals might be so many. So, but actually people they are aware about it. Yes.
I'm sure in such of these things, much of the bigger problem obviously is pasture for the animals, food for the people living in Narok, but also the problem of water, particularly for the animals and even for human consumption.
Yes.
And I understand you've done several water plants in Narok.
Yes. Where? We have done actually several of them according to what we can do, according to our ability. We have done actually several down in Narok South, Narok West, to Mefanya kidogo, where we can actually. So we have tried to help the community so that at least we can see whether we can salvage, the animals, because after every 5 years there is a cycle of drought. So we are trying now to tell the community to know about that cycle. So I've done around 5 dams.
Okay.
Yes.
You talk about the cycle will always repeat itself after 5 years.
Yes.
The whole question about water ponds, obviously is not sustainable. As a leader in Narok County, as a philanthropist, as the person who probably is seeking to occupy political office at some point, what is that ultimate solution, the silver bullet towards stabilizing Narok County so that we don't have movement of people and pasture? Every time these 5 years happen when you're saying, there's a cycle of drought.
Now, I will say this, definitely. The last... what can I really put actually? The best solution for that county at the moment, they are boreholes.
Boreholes.
The moment we get, for example, if I become the governor of Narok, the first thing I'm going to do is to have many boreholes as I can.
Many boreholes as you can?
Yes. And then from that, for sure, then we can take water, piping water to so many kilometers, and I believe that will solve a major problem in Narok.
Boreholes is a solution.
Yes,
but I'm wondering.
No. I can. It might not be a solution, but I can say that it can solve. I can say 60 to 70%.
And what is that 60-70% that you intend to solve through boreholes?
The major problem is water in some areas. Okay. In some areas, actually there are rivers. Okay.
Yeah, there are some places that have rivers.
Yes. We need also to pipe that water from the river. For people to be able to irrigate actually their there are issues. One, food, grass, you know. Then from that, you can see there'll be a lot of changes. So I think that can solve the problem in Narok.
All right.
Yes.
And yet you've served as an administrator in the Narok County government.
Yes, I did.
I'm just thinking, basically, aren't these things that the county government obviously ought to prioritize?
You know, in a government there are many things.
Okay.
You know? Kuna vitu mingi ambao which can overtake or override the others because probably in this ward wanasema wanataka hospitali, in that ward wanasema wanataka maji, you know, and then in Highlands wanataka barabara. So yani kila
it's a balance.
Yes, it's a balance thing. So actually that is what I can say.
All right.
Yeah.
But yet you say when you become governor, your priority will be digging boreholes.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, how then do you balance? You already have a priority in terms of ensuring that Narok is, you know, food secure, it has water for pastoralists there.
Yes.
How then do you balance these things?
I will
with
balance,
your priority?
Yes. I will balance in this formula. Okay? You know, for the first 2 years, we can say that we can put aside some good amount of money, okay, for boreholes. In the third year, we can say that we can prioritize roads. You know, those are the things that I can say at the moment, and for sure I know we will achieve it.
All right.
Yes.
Having come from the pastoralist community, there's this idea that has been told about, you know, a mental shift in terms of ensuring, if you're moving towards food security, is this idea of encouraging pastoral communities to not obsess with livestock, and we start doing farming. And you know, experts say orphan plants farming is probably the ultimate solution to food security in the country. Is that a conversation you would encourage if you are to become an administrator there?
Definitely, yes. Before, personally now I'm a farmer in different categories. I plant wheat, I have animals, you see, so I've seen the benefit. So definitely the moment I take over, I will enroll those kinds of plan so that people can have different kind of system of working to make their daily bread works very well. Yes.
Over the years, because I see from some of the works you've done in philanthropy is digging the water pans, there's bursary to school children, and of course I know about hospitals and bills. Have you been able to identify, other than the point of boreholes, because you said that addresses the water problem in Narok, have you been able to identify other priorities that you would actually, you know, put ahead if you were to become governor?
Yes. In Narok, if people plant wheat, if people plant majani chai, I know those things can change many things in.
Tea can grow in Narok?
Yes. Yes. Very well. At the Mau area.
But on the end of Mau forest?
Yes.
Okay.
You see? Those are the things which can make Narok, you know, a better place. So we have roads. We need to, you know, to establish very good roads. We need in some parts of Narok, like a place called what do you call this place? There is a place called Loita. They need very good facility, roads, hospitals. Actually, that place need to be opened up.
Okay.
You see?
The problem is that it is not opened up.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, go to Mosiro. Mosiro need also to be opened up to a standard whereby the right things can be done. So if I take over, I'm sure I can roll very good plans there, because there are many things. Mosiro is a hot area whereby you can plant many things. Instead of animals, you can shift okay, you can make now what we call rotational farming.
Rotational farming.
Okay.
I've not heard you talk about tourism.
Yes.
Because Narok ranks very highly when it comes to issues of tourism. But there's still a problem of streamlining revenue collection.
Yes.
Particularly from areas like Mara up until today.
Yes. You know, I can't say anything there until when we reach there. You see?
Okay. You can't say anything until you get there.
No, you know, for real, you know, if you're not in that office at the moment, I know if I'll be there, if there is a problem about revenue, I know actually what to do.
Do you know there's a problem about revenue? Or have you been able, I mean, as a person with an ambition,
yes,
have you been able to identify if indeed there's a problem in Mara?
For sure, at the moment, I can't say anything at the moment because I don't think there is so much problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As we wind up, very quickly, over the years, being you know, having served as a clerk in the defunct municipal, it was the county council,
yes,
as well as, you know, having served as administrator in the Narok County government, and your work with the peoples of Narok, do you think you have the experience, or what experience have you gathered to manage the affairs of Narok County?
I can say few things. I have interacted with the locals.
Okay.
Narok is a place, is a museum of, you know, I can say that Narok is Kenya. So I can work with everybody there. I will give each and every person his own space. So the experience that I have there, I've worked with the local for at least for a while.
Okay.
Although I have gone around this country actually working in different capacity, but in Narok I've worked for a while, and I know that I can deliver very, very, very well.
All right.
Yes.
And you're confident you can do that.
Yes.
We've been speaking to Stephen Kuriata, a philanthropist from Narok County, and obviously, like you've had, the issues of drought, very intentional in places like Narok. It has not been, you know, put as the most affected county because there's just about 10. Obviously, you know, if the short rains fail, there are areas in Narok that will be affected. That's why we end Extra Mile. We are taking a breather. When we come back, Serfine Achieng is up next with business.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya Kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#.
Aje umefanya vizuri sana kunifikia hii simu sasa. Nimekuwa na stress kutoka asubuhi kabisa. Na ni huyu mtu ambaye alikuwa anapatiana majina ya vitu. Kwani hakutufikiria sisi watu wa Eastern Ukambani? Ni nani alisema ati wife kwa Kiswahili ni mke? Na akasema ati handbaka. Hii inabebwa na mwanamke handbaka. Ati kwa Kiswahili ni kibeti. Huku kwetu mke ndiye kibeti.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hiyo ya Kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#. *811*962#.
Jamaica wanna get him from who needs some soje. Making party, it's going on. It's gonna burn all night. One love is action. One love is an action.
Welcome back, and now let's focus on the business news. President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed the Ministry of Energy to implement new recommendations that will see the cost of electricity reducing by 1/3 within 4 months. This is contained in the Presidential Task Force on the review of power purchase agreement that recommends fast-tracking reforms at Kenya Power, as well as reviewing power purchase agreements with electricity generators.
The Presidential Task Force on Review of Power Purchase Agreements was constituted in March this year in response to concerns on the high cost of electricity for both individual consumers and businesses. The key findings of the John Gumi-led task force include the vast differential between KenGen and independent power producer tariffs and electricity dispatch allocations, the lack of proper demand forecasting and planning leading to irreconcilable projections as against demand. The existing risk allocation imbalance between KPLC and IPPs further exacerbated by poor contract management frameworks and an uncoordinated institutional architecture that contributes to enhanced operational costs passed on to consumers. The task force recommends that interventions to be implemented to reduce the cost of electricity include review and renegotiations with independent power producers to secure immediate reduction in power purchase agreement tariffs within existing contractual agreements, KPLC to undertake a forensic audit on the procurement and system losses arising from the use of heavy fuel oils. President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed KPLC to include the names of directors of companies that it has contractual agreements with in its annual reports in efforts to enhance transparency. President Kenyatta directed the Ministry of Energy to immediately implement the recommendations to ensure that by December the cost of electricity reduces by a third. Betty Kiptum, Prime Edition.
Indeed, some good news there, but not as good when it comes to matters fuel. Rising crude oil prices and costlier foodstuffs due to drought being experienced in parts of the country remain the key risks to the rate of inflation. Central Bank Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge says high fuel prices are especially likely to have the most strain on inflation.
Crude oil prices on the international market hit a 3-year high as Brent crude crossed the $80 a barrel last witnessed in October 2018. Brent crude has increased by about 55% for the year to date. This is a concern for policymakers at the central bank, who project the increasing fuel prices are likely to exert inflationary pressures on the economy in coming weeks.
And you can see how it has grown, or rather how the price has increased, and now as of September 22nd was $74 per barrel. Actually, yesterday it was $78.3 per barrel as of yesterday. So you can see this has grown, has actually risen quite a bit.
High fuel prices in Kenya, coupled with a drought being experienced in parts of the country, is also affecting food prices, which increased 10.7% in August.
The concern here is more in terms of weather and also somewhat the supply of those products to the various markets, but it's largely weather related.
He said new tax measures are also contributing to the rising commodity cost, contributing 1.78 percentage points to overall inflation.
The tax measures in the finance bill will, of course, and indexation will continue to make their presence felt, and the contribution, as we said last time, we calculate the contribution to be something in the order of 1.78 percentage points to overall inflation.
The government is banking on the reopening of the global travel industry and COVID vaccinations to lift up tourist arrivals whose forex injections would help support the shilling.
We are still off our highs, and you can see even January, February last year, we are nowhere near that. But I think the point is that, again, the sector is beginning to pick up.
Betty Kiptum, Prime Edition.
All right, and that's how we wrap it up on the business news. Now, sports is up next with Karen Kibet.
Thank you very much, Serfine. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, senators now want Team Kenya's performance at the Tokyo Olympic Games probed. The senators also want the Ministry of Sports, National Olympic Committee of Kenya, and the Athletics Kenya to account for the money that was disbursed to the team and its officials.
Kenya featured in the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, which became the nation's 15th appearance at the Summer Olympics since its debut in 1956. Kenya's medal tally was slightly down from 6 gold and 13 total medals in 2016, but it still won far more medals than any other African nation. Senators now want Team Kenya performance at the Tokyo Games investigated. The senators also want the Ministry of Sports, National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC, and Athletics Kenya to account for the money that was disbursed to the team and officials.
Rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to request for statement from the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare regarding the performance of the Kenya national team to the 2021 Tokyo Olympics in Japan and the mismanagement of athletes by the Ministry of Sports, Athletics Kenya, and the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state the reasons for the dismal performance by the Kenya national team to the Tokyo 2021 Olympics in both track and field events, including an historic loss of the steeplechase race, 3,000 meters steeplechase, an event that Kenya has consistently won in the Olympics and other major races since 1963-64.
The team amassed 4 gold medals, 4 silver and 2 bronze medals. Frederick Moki for Prime Edition.
Thank you very much, Moki, for that report, and we will definitely keep you up to speed with how that story will develop. Moving on, Sekafa Cup champions Vihiga Queens will play South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns, Asfar Club of Morocco, and River Angels of Nigeria in the group stages of the Women CAF Champions League. The 4 sides were pooled together in Group B at the tournament's draw held earlier this evening in Egypt.
After a successful Sekafa Club Championship which saw Vihiga Queens lift the title in Nairobi, the Kenyan side will now test their skill against the continent's best following the CAF Champions League draw held earlier tonight in Egypt. Vihiga Queens will play South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns, Asfar Club of Morocco, and River Angels of Nigeria in the group stage of the continental tournament next month. Vihiga Queens avoided facing Wadi Degla of Egypt, Asmande of Mali, Malabo Kings of Equatorial Guinea, and Hasakas Ladies of Ghana, who were pooled in Group A of the Champions League. Only 8 teams will participate in the tournament, which will take place between November 5th and 19th, following the conclusion of the 6 CAF regional preliminary qualifiers.
Harambee Stars coach Engin Firat has called Spain-based Ismael Gonzalez of Vela Achieng, who plays in South Africa, and goalkeeper Farouk Shikalo in the Harambee Stars squad that will be playing against Mali in the upcoming World Cup qualifier. Firat today named a 34-man provincial squad for the qualifiers. I'm being let know that that story will be brought your way tomorrow. And that's all we had for you right here at the KBC Sports Desk News. Let's do this all over again, same time, same place tomorrow. Have yourself a lovely night. My name is Karen Kibet.
Thank you, Karen Kibet, for the latest in the world of sports. And that's how we wrap it up right here on Prime Edition this Wednesday.
Absolutely. There's a match that is upcoming from 10, and that match is between Chelsea and Juventus in the Champions League. So I'm sure, obviously, you can watch those results. But on KBC, it is what time again?
10.
Reggae time. All right, good night.
Vera Beauty College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru.
Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725-923-550 Nairobi branch, 0728-087-689 Eldoret branch, 0722-227428 Thika branch, 0725-000-706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Homa Bay mpo. Radio Mayenga inakuletea roadshow ya kuhadithiwa Alhamisi tarehe 30 Septemba 2021 na Ijumaa tarehe 1 Oktoba ni Mayenga ndani ya Homa Bay County. Alhamisi msafara utapitia Chabera, Kadongo, Ringa, Oyugis, Kosele, Kindu Bay na kisha tutue Rangwe Town. Ijumaa tutaanzia Rangwe, Ndiwa, Mbita, Sindo kisha Homa Bay Town itatetemeshwa na Mayenga. Njoo upatane ana kwa ana na watangazaji wa Mayenga unaowaenzi. Mayenga FM, Homa Bay ni yetu.
The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops invites all men and women of goodwill to a virtual National Prayer Day to be held in Subukia this Saturday, 2nd October 2021. This year's theme is Saint Joseph, Faithful and Just, Guardian of the Eucharist. Go to Joseph. We invite you to participate in this celebration of the Holy Mass by following the proceedings that will be aired live on KBC Channel 1 this Saturday from 10 a.m. God bless Kenya.
Nikachochezi kapaya sana Mwangi.
Kwa nini mwongeza?
Mwangi kafitina sana. Si hapo ndio kaliniambia. It's a here saying mheshimiwa.
Yani that man, he's loyal, he's faithful, he's kind. Mse, watu wanachangwa tipia chuoni, mimi nachangwa tipia thao. Ati? Yes.
Objection mheshimiwa.
Objection ya nini?
Pama alipigwa mpaka simu ikapoteza ringtone.
Hey! Between me and you, who does tos? Hey, who does?